Welcome to Scotland. It's a fantastic country.
Karibu sana Glasgow. Ni mahali pazuri sana pa kuishi na kushirikiana na watu.
Tervetuloa Skotlantiin.
Benvenuti a Glasgow.
Nous vous recueillons en Écosse et j'espère que tu auras très content ici.
Benvidos a Glasgow. Esperamos que o pasedes moi ben aquí.
Vi estas bonvena en Glasgow.
Kia ora, ina mana, ina reo, ina hoefa, no mai, haere mai, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Ha faaltje vla rov ule aan balla Glasgow.
Vi er rigtig glade for at have dig i Glasgow.
Bem-vindos à Escócia, é país fantástico.
Welcome to Scotland, welcome to Glasgow. You'll find home here. 欢迎来到苏格兰，欢迎来到格拉斯哥，在这儿你才会找到家的感觉。
Sveiki atvykę į Glasgow.
Θα ήθελα απλώς να σας καλωσορίσω στη Γλασκόβη.
Witajcie w Szkocji.
Hello, welcome to Glasgow. Сія відвезем Glasgow.
Це надзвичайно дружнє і відкрите місто.
نرحب بكم في مدينة غلاسكو.
Καλώς ήρθατε στη Γλασκόβη.
You're welcome in this lovely city of Glasgow. Ламухелесехиле мо Glasgow.
Добро пожаловать в Шотландию.
Vothe mkaribishwa mdheha Glasgow ni handu hedi vandu veiteka hamwe na kuhira shughuli hamwe na kugaya hamwe.
Po kare kare ana, na waya pu, fiti atu koe hine, marina nae. I like to sing in Māori, even if I didn't sing in Māori that often necessarily back home, but it's kind of a constant presence and it's something that you can't get here. When you sing in Māori, you can't help but be New Zealand because it is a language unique to that country. I guess it's that feeling of familiarity and kind of coming home.
Дім для мене, Україна для мене це весна. Весна у Києві, багато дерев. My feeling of home of Ukraine is a springtime, so the image of Ukraine in the springtime, when there are a lot of trees, grass, sunshine, and the air is very fresh, and also a lot of lilac trees of different colors everywhere, and it's beautiful, and the smell is just, it's very special. Actually, in Glasgow, I have been looking for lilac, but I don't think it's in blossom yet. So I'm waiting for it.
A home for me is where I feel that I am welcomed and where I feel that I love the place and the place I live loves me back.
I quite like the idea of home being people rather than an actual place. Because I play guitar and accordion, and these two objects have always kind of traveled with me. So I always keep them safe. I use them to play the songs that I've played all my life. So I guess there is a connection between my previous home in Krakow, where I would hear accordion every day in the streets, and I guess my attempt to recreate some part of it through playing it.
There are those who are Swahili people, Tanzanian. I didn't know them before, but when I came to Glasgow, I met them, and sometimes we call and we speak that Swahili. It's the moment that we speak, we just talk the really Swahili. And it feels home. It feels nice, right? Narudi tena Ulaya, sema ndio naenda Ulaya. Sasa utafanya graduation kama ya wakati ule, na mimi nataka kuvaa ile gauni kubwa.
Bem, é toda esta ideia de estar na costa e pensar que para trás de nós está toda a Europa. E todo o mundo novo que se descobriu, que foi sendo descoberto. I feel Portuguese, I am Portuguese, but my home is in Scotland with my family. The most important element for me is that it's not a language perceived as, for my children, as a dictatorial imposed language. You must speak it, you must speak it. Rather than just set the family affectionate language. So they speak it because they want to. I speak to them in Portuguese and they'll reply in English, which is funny. But sometimes they reply in Portuguese as well. Sometimes they just speak to me in Portuguese before I even speak to them. So it's very organic.
Romanian is the language that I was brought into the world with. It's the language of my family. It's the language in which the people that I love communicate with me and I with them. It's the language in which I communicate with myself most of the time. It's the language in which I was told I love you, in which I first swore as well, and just a language that defines who I am. And when I think about myself, when I think about the world and what I would like to do, Romanian is a part of that thought.
Sabes, papá, hoxe vim para a universidade por Bairros Road, como sempre, e acordeime de ti e de cando che regalei ese libro, esa novela detectivesca sobre Glasgow, e de cando me dixeches que, bueno, que xa coñeces Glasgow moi ben, que xa sabes que a universidade está ao lado de Bairros Road, que en Bairros Road hai moitas tendas. Well, I grew up speaking Spanish at home with my parents and brother. The reason why I chose to go back to speaking Galician, after having learned about the story of Galician, after having seen the different status of Galician versus Spanish, I did it as a sort of political point, because the reason why many people speak Spanish in Galicia nowadays is because politically, they have been transmitted the idea that Galician is unworthy or is less worthy than Spanish. So I wanted to make the point that if all this political repression hadn't happened, if people hadn't been transmitted those ideas, most of the Galician population would speak Galician nowadays. There's obviously lots of set phrases or words which you cannot really translate into Spanish or other language, I know. I especially like a quite old-fashioned expression, fora da alma. I really like it because, for example, you may hear a sort of older person, if they are talking about an animal or a pet, like a dog, like, oh, this dog was really nice and really lovely, really smart as well. So he looked just like a person, fora da alma, which means except for the soul.
Growing up as a child, I was always a Gaelic singer. I was always involved in Gaelic choirs, and that was always a huge part of my life growing up, and I still participate in that today as well. And that really, I suppose, allowed me to gain a sort of insight into the language, and it sort of developed my interests in the cultural aspects of the language to the point where I decided as an adult that I was going to go and learn the language.
I think, I tell this to my students, this is a joke, but I think words have a flavour, they have a taste. And there are certain words when you say it in English that, bring memories, bring a sensation, and Portuguese as well. The same way when we read for Burns Night, so we do the address to the Haggis. So I try and do my best Scots, all flawed. But there's a different flavour to that, of doing that. You feel somebody, you feel something else when you're speaking those words. So there's an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting you describe the taste of a language. How does Portuguese taste like, if you had to describe it as a taste?
Earthy. Very earthy. Very down to earth. And very melancholic. That's how it tastes.
What's the most melancholic tasting sounding word in Portuguese?
Definitely saudade. It's a sense of longing for somebody that has gone away, longing for a situation, but it's also the sweetness of the feeling itself.
I think one of the memories that I've taken with me over here as a kind of comforter, I suppose, is just before I left, I spent a week in a place called Curatao on the shores of Lake Taupo. There's a lot of native birds are still there and still making a lot of noise around there. So yeah, the sound of the cicadas interspersed with the different native birds and the smells of the harakeke flakes and the tar on the road melting. And the harakeke, when it's warm, kind of sweats as well. So those two smells in combination, and just all of that put together just makes you feel really warm, even if it's a freezing cold Glasgow day.
I know, I feel like I'm more connected to the outside world at large because I'm surrounded by all these people from all different places and all different backgrounds and all these different fascinating stories.
You are welcome to Glasgow, everyone. A city that is for all the people and that is full of friendship and warmth. You will love it here. Bine ați venit în Glasgow tuturor, un oraș plin de prietenie și de căldură. O să vă placă foarte mult aici.